Well, the school's taking part in the Young Enterprise Scotland Company programme. So a group of 5th and 6th years have formed a company together where they had to come up with a innovative product.
The group came together in August, but maybe in September we were told, we knew a bit about it because last year's group had done quite well, so we kind of wanted to follow in their footsteps and go. We knew we'd have to go even bigger. They did a children's book. We knew we'd have to go even bigger to do well.
Well, I'm the finance director of the group, and we started making a board game. It started with the first idea, Dunbarton Monopoly, and it just escalated into the Ken, which is our board game now.
Initially it was going to be based on Dunbarton, our hometown, but we just wanted to expand and make it a more national thing. So it involves going around the map of Scotland.
It started off as a kind of, they were taking ideas from here and there, but the product is completely their own. They've managed to get it manufactured and marketed it and sold it.
Mr Rogers was our link teacher, so he was basically there to help us through the general enterprise, like the system, because obviously we didn't know anything about it. So he was just basically our liaison with a lot of like the companies such as the trade fair company, and just organised all that and stuff. But a lot of the stuff was kind of down to us as well. Like he was just more of a guiding hand, and he wasn't like heavily involved with like the design or anything. He was just kind of there to guide us along. Some people wanted to go down a sort of motivational route as well, so we thought of running a few other products. Something called a life jam jar, which is a life coaching tool. It's a wee jar with sand in it and stones, and the stones are meant to represent the priorities in your life, and the sand's all the sort of admin tasks that you have to do, and the stones are to represent that you need to leave time to do the important things that you enjoy doing. And we also made a limited edition Dunbarton Academy mug that's it's similar to the old mug, but it's a different colour, so it was limited edition. And these sort of products we thought would help us like pay back our printing bills for the game, which were huge, and we thought that would help us generate some cash. I was more of just a general sales team member, but I was heavily involved in the design of the game, along with all like the artwork and the graphic artwork that the board game would be printed on the board game.
Like we made up all the questions for the board game and all the design. We had like a design team and a question team, and we all made up, everyone's got different strengths and weaknesses in the group, and we all put them together to make what we've got. Learning all about major cities like Glasgow and Edinburgh and Aberdeen, and also learning about landmarks, history, culture and stuff like that. The game is, well, we thought it came about really because we realised that not many people in the group knew much about Scotland and our own heritage, so we thought we'd try and come up with something to use in primary schools and in secondary schools to help teach about Scotland. So we first came up with a concept, and we knew it had to be a sort of big game to be useful in the classroom, and it couldn't have a definite start or end point because like it's a few more minutes till the end of the game, but the period's end, you have to go, the class is done. So we knew that it had to be something you could finish at any time, and a winner would be announced. And because we had such a diverse group, there was 21 of us originally, there's 17 now, but because we had such a diverse group, we were able to all all do our own particular subject area and collaborate all our questions, and then a sort of focused question group went through and made sure they were not too hard, not too easy, a mixture. The board is basically geography because it's a map of Scotland and you travel around, but the questions are just as much geography as they are arts and literature or history or like, I don't know, just in general questions about Scotland. They're not focused on geography in any way, it's a great mixture. And the other thing we come up with was a standard grade, which what you do in 3rd and 4th year are standard grades, so we come up with a CD question back
because again we had such a big group, everyone collaborated 100 questions for a particular subject area, and we were able to have a seat disc with over 1,200 questions on it to be used in place of the Scottish questions in the game. You can use the standard grade questions, and then it's a sort of study aid, a fun way to study.
So probably what you're all going to have to do is get together with Nicola, look at the sheet and just confirm that...
I think normally in Young Enterprise it's maybe only 8 or 9, and it's usually quite a tight-knit group. But this company, there was sort of spread of, you know, different characters, and some people were friends and some people weren't, so it was a more challenging group to work with. The roles that they came up with, they had to have a managing director, a finance director, operations, IT, marketing, sales, and human resources. So they had to pick, they actually had to have a ballot. Some people put their names forward who'd be interested in the different roles, and they voted to see who would be most suitable.
We've tried to incorporate citizenship into it with things like £10 fine for littering, or £20 fine for being rude and inconsiderate, or not using the Pelican Crossing, stuff like that, to try and encourage kids to know that you get a reward if you do something good and a fine if you're not.
I think when they get marked for their product, they look how there's about 7 awards, I think, and they get awarded for the best trade fair stand, the best marketing, best innovation, and throughout all these different awards, there's best overall product as well. Throughout all these different awards, you get different, they get extra marks for if their product's environmentally friendly. So, you know, a lot of the time they're trying to focus, they're trying to kind of cover a lot of the areas of the curriculum for excellence as well.
Well, in the game there's a lot of citizenship involved. Like a lot of squares on the game are devoted to recycling or just being courteous. So also with playing the game, primary school age children would be learning all about sharing and taking turns and just general good manners, which would obviously help them outside of school as well as when going through their school career when they're out in the streets and stuff.
I'm a maths teacher, and I'm working closely with a home economics teacher, and we kind of have looked after the group. For the DVD that they made of questions, the kids, I mean, there's such a big group of kids that each of them had done standard grade. I think they'd covered all subjects. So each of them like picked their sort of subject areas and came up with questions, and then went to different teachers within the school to kind of get the questions okayed. So like, there was a lot of teachers involved that way.
Like, so in a way we were still revising what we'd done by doing the questions, and even I was the one that actually collaborated the CD, brought all the questions together and put them on the CD, and I felt like I'd learned something about biology, which is a subject I've never done all up through school, and I learned a few things that I didn't know just from inputting the questions into the computer.
I've learned a lot of stuff, probably communication skills, making phone calls, dealing with people, like really trying to sell products, things that I've never really been doing before. And I've learned more about the business world, about not everything's going to go the right way.
Like, it's very stressful at times, you don't always know like all these problems that are going to come. Well, obviously we knew we were going to have some problems inevitably because we were coming up with such a big product. We knew there'd be some problems along the way, but we weren't expecting certain problems like a budget cut.
So we were left with this massive debt that we couldn't pay because we couldn't sell the product. But eventually we got round it, and we just had to find other ways of doing it.
So then we focused the game down onto primary schools and sold the standard grade discs separately to secondary schools, because that's much cheaper. The game's $39.99, the disc is $9.99, although it comes with the game. So we sold that separately, which we weren't originally going to do. We didn't want to sell loads of discs and be left with the game.
I've been trying to be as sort of hands-off as much as possible, because I want it to be, I've run my own business, and from what I see from this, I think it's an excellent opportunity for the kids to really experience what business is like. So I've been trying to sort of hands-off, but sort of just kind of guiding them here and there, and making sure that they're, I mean, I think as time has been going on, they've realised how important it is that deadlines get met, and that they, you know, it's important that they turn up for meetings and things like that. So, you know, it's been a real good learning experience for them, and I've been trying to, as much as possible take a back seat, but you're kind of there to guide them and help them, you know, when they need help.
I learned that it's not always going to go the easy way, and you have to make decisions on the spot, and you have to all work together, and you can't lose enthusiasm within the group, because that happened quite a lot, and some of the directors weren't as assertive as they could have been in taking on leadership roles. We were a bit too laid back, I think. And then when we realised that we had this big debt to pay, we kind of panicked, and then that's when we really got on board.
You know, the lessons in teamwork and having to work with people who they don't necessarily get on with. You know, they've kind of realised that in business, you know, you need to work with people who you might clash with their personality, but you know, you have to get on with them and work with them. I think they've also, as I say, they've learned about making sure deadlines get met, and if they do procrastinate and they don't meet deadlines, that's going to cost them, in this case, you know, literally financially, but also just in their time and making sure tasks get done on time, otherwise they're going to get redone. And so I think the lessons are.
We've still to decide what we're going to do with the profits. I think there'll be a wage taken just to. It's not so much, oh, we need money. It's just to show, like, to give us something for all our time and commitment. And maybe, I don't know what could happen to the other money. There's lots of different things, and it's still something we have to discuss.
I think there's a number of charities that the school works with, but I think it's such a wide group that, again, most decisions that get taken, they vote on them, like when they come up with a company name or whatever. So I think, again, this would be something that if there's any charities that specifically in the group that they feel they want to donate to, then that's probably what they'll do.
I think maybe like the Children's Hospice or York Hill Children's Hospital. I think that'd be a really good cause to put it to, because our game is based at kind of younger children, so something that are giving children a lot of joy could give other children a lot of joy by aiding them in hospital or in a hospice.